Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I know that this is going to be a little bit of a different kind of video, and I'm sure it's a little bit different than what you've probably been expecting to see from me. You guys are probably sitting here like, this has been like 4 days, where are my videos? But I have really been trying to avoid talking about this subject simply because I am a very private person, and although I have opened up a lot of my life to you guys, and I have, so many wonderful supporters through you guys, and I feel like we are a close-knit kind of little mini sub-community that is the viewers of my channel, but and I do feel like we are close-knit, but there are just things that are hard to deal with on their own, let alone present and share with a lot of people who don't ever really get to see that part of your life or your personality, or just, you feel me? You get what I'm trying to say here? So basically, this is going to be, I don't know how long this video will be. I'm going to try not to make it too long. And I know that I have made a couple of videos in the past that are similar to this, that were kind of sit down heart to hearts, or, things of that nature. But enough beating around the bush, the bush, enough beating around the bush. Basically, the reason I have not recorded in a few days, in over a week actually, is because for lack of trying, or for lack of time, or for any of those reasons. It has just simply been that every time I sit down to record, as much as I try not to let my own problems seep into what I do just in life, whether that be when I'm around other people, when I'm like at the grocery store, or when I'm at a restaurant, or when I'm recording videos. I just try to keep what's personal kind of behind shed doors. Does that make sense? And I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree and relate to that on some level. I've tried to record the 100 Baby Challenge video 5 times now for the next part. And it is so clear. It's so obvious. It comes across so clearly when in my voice, in the things that I say, in just every aspect of those videos, that I am not happy. And I feel awful trying to fake that and show that to you guys, because what finally hit me like a ton of bricks is when I was just now trying to record it again, and I was frustrated. I just got really frustrated, and I am not somebody who I can be somewhat easily frustrated sometimes, but when I'm doing these videos, it usually is not frustrating to me. But I know that the truth of the matter is that I am just not in the right state of mind to be recording videos right now. And I haven't been for a while. And it's just that just recently I haven't been able to, I guess, hide it very well. As sad as and ridiculous as that sounds. But to kind of explain to you guys a little bit what's going on with me, occasionally I try to kind of give you guys some life updates, especially if I've had an absence. And I'm not trying to say that we're going to have another absence. I would like to not do that. I don't intend to go on another kind of hiatus for several months. That is not at all my intention. But I do know it's been a few days. Several days actually since I uploaded, and I'm way off of schedule right now for the things that are supposed to come out, such as my renovation video is supposed to come out tomorrow, and I was supposed to have several other videos up by now, but they're not. And, the reason for that is because I have been going through a lot of things in my personal life. As you guys know, I moved into this new apartment, which is a larger apartment, and, me and Tony moved in together, and that's been great. That has been amazing. So don't think it has anything to do with like relationship issues. It's not that. We're very happy together with each other, I mean. But I left my job at the beginning of the month, and it was because my job had gotten to the point where it was causing me such crippling anxiety that I really did not want to put myself through it anymore. And there were a lot of reasons behind that I don't want to go into, because I don't want to sound like I'm bashing anyone or bashing the company or anything like that. Not to mention I could probably get in trouble for that. So I'm not going to go into it in any real detail on here. But on my side of it, it was just that it was such a chaotic and somewhat hostile situation that it was to the point where I was crying before every single shift I worked, and to the point where I was trying to give up all of my shifts throughout the week, even though I knew I needed to work to make money, because obviously I have to pay for my apartment, I have to pay for my car, everything. I'm not an irresponsible person. But when I have that kind of anxiety problem present itself, it kind of takes control of you a little bit. And it's been a lifelong battle of mine to take control of my life and to not allow anxiety to cripple me and all that kind of stuff. I try my best not to see that entire situation as a giant failure, but that is a lot harder to do in practice, because if you are somebody, if any of you guys understand anxiety and have anxiety or know people close to you who have anxiety, you probably understand what I'm talking about, because it is so, I consider myself such a confident and strong person generally, and I try to, I'm not perfect, I know that, but I try to really just let everything roll off my back. And I couldn't in this situation. I couldn't. I literally could not. And that's really upsetting to me. And not to mention that I have since then been out of work. So I have been struggling to find a new job, and I have been struggling to, keep the money together enough so that we can pay for our bills and things of that nature. And the whole point of this video is not to, sit here and have a pity party for myself, because that's the last thing I want to do. But I wanted to explain, and I felt like I owed it to you guys to explain, and I feel like I'm always explaining something. I feel like I always am, and that's kind of upsetting to me as well. But I had to sit down and make this video because I know that right now I'm probably at the lowest I have been in a very, very long time. I'm not saying I'm at rock bottom, or, again, like I said, I'm not trying to have a pity party, but I really do. That is really the way I feel at the moment, and it's hard. And I still am dealing with the anxiety every day, not for different things, of course. I'm trying to get through it and just get by. And it's just very, very, very hard for me to record right now and be uppity and, thinking of all these wonderful creative storylines when every moment of my day I am trying to face the fact that it's all kind of crumbling around me. And this has been generally what I have been dealing with for the past year or so. Just because it's always been something after something after something. First it was I had to get another job because I wasn't making enough to pay my bills. And then it was my dad not speaking to me anymore. And then it was, trying to find a new apartment, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And then it was not being able to afford to go to college anymore right now. And it's constantly been one thing after another. And that's enough to really set anybody back. And I have no intention of getting super emotional in this video. I'm trying to keep that to a minimum, but I am at just such a really, 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 really difficult time. And I just hope you guys can be patient with me for a little while, as I try and piece everything together and try and figure out where I'm going from here. I ask for your guys' prayers to keep me in your prayers. I'm not a terribly religious person, but I do believe that there is something to be said about the power of thought and intention. So I am trying my best to stay as positive as I can. It's just a very hard time. So with all of that being said, and all of that off my chest, I did want to address one other thing a couple of you had been asking about, which was, how are things going with my dad, and how have things been since that last video I made where me and my father were not speaking. We hadn't spoken in a very long time, and where that was causing its own emotional distress. But actually, me and my dad are at a much better place. We actually talked again for the first time at the end of August, right before my birthday, which was a big deal for me. I was really very much wondering if that would happen, like if my dad would speak to me on my birthday, but we did, and we haven't directly discussed it. Like, it's kind of like the elephant in the room, where, yeah, we didn't speak to each other for like 6 to 8 months or something. So that's a thing that happened, So it's like, it's not perfect. It's not 100%, but it's getting better, and we are speaking, and we do see each other, and we have had dinner with each other several times, and it's going a lot better. In fact, my father, very, very, very recently found his mother and sister in Vietnam, which I know none of you guys have any idea about this, but my dad was separated from his mother and his grandmother and his sister when he was about 5 years old, and had not seen or spoken to them since. And he is now 43, 44, something like that. So practically 40 years has gone by since he has seen his mother or his mother has seen him. So it's a really big deal, and they are, in happier news, they are flying there. They're flying back to Vietnam in November, for the whole month of November, so my dad can finally see his mother again face to face. So that's been extremely exciting, and that has been a little bit of a bonding thing for all of us, because, my dad has never known his family, so neither have I, So this is exciting for both of us. I'm especially excited for my dad, because I can't imagine having gone my entire life without seeing my mom, and then seeing her again out of the blue is crazy. Is absolutely crazy. So that's, another little side story I wanted to add in. Things are going better with me and my dad, so don't worry about that. It's just been a rough time recently overall, so trying to find a middle ground amongst the chaos is tough. But I am going to hop off my soapbox at that. If you guys have any questions for me, or you guys want to talk or anything, if you guys want to discuss anxiety, I am not about that beeping sound. Sorry, guys. But as I was going to say, if you all want to talk about anxiety or ask me any questions, please feel free to in the comment box below. I really would love you guys' feedback on this video, but I hope you guys can understand, and I hope you won't be too upset with me. Because I know that this past year of my YouTube channel has been kind of a mess, just overall, and that's kind of just reflecting how my life has been for the past year. So, let me know. Let me know what you think, and if you want to talk, and just please say what's on your mind. I would love to get a conversation going and just chat with you guys a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to end it at that, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for listening to me babble on for this entire video. And I will see you guys next time.